I mean, I think people would probably, anyone who's done a yoga class would probably walk away from that and be able to talk about how they thought about breathing, for the first, maybe they thought about it because it's common that an instructor is going to give you the inhale and the exhale relative to the movement. But you look around the room, most of the time, everyone's struggling so hard to do the next hard thing that their breathing patterns are all whacked out anyway, and they don't have control over it. But how do you where's a good place to start in a yogi or in a yoga setting to start to understand that relationship that you have with your breathing, and then be able to, down the road, apply that to something else that's much more dynamic in the setting of jiu-jitsu or maybe even surfing. um, how do you get someone to start to bridge those gaps?
That's a good question because I often, in the yoga practice, I am trying to challenge people physically and ask them to do complicated and interesting things while being mindful and connected to a nasal breath, right? So, not breathing through their mouth, not going to fight or flight, staying cool, calm, and collected, and you're doing these challenging things. And personally, I notice anytime things become impossible or start to get really intense, it's usually because I'm holding my breath or
Yeah.
not breathing deeply. I'm breathing shallow and quick, or I'm holding. And as I'm watching, people are always holding their breath. As soon as they go to try something, they're holding their breath. So the way I teach is very specific. And even my theme for this week, or my collective intention for my students, is to let your breath, each breath, your inhale and exhale, each part of your breath lead your movements. So your transitions in and out of your poses, and not to move before your breath. Because if you're moving before your breath, you're not being led by your breath.
Right.
You're being led by your arm or your leg or whatever. Your breath should lead your movement. So if you have a really good teacher who's paying attention and watching you, they'll immediately start to remind you, being like, why are you not breathing? And then after the breath and your breath is flowing, then it's other subtle things like, why are you squeezing your face like that? Why are you biting your tongue? Like, and then it's other aspects of these. I like to call them like steam vents or escape valves. You put something under pressure, enough pressure builds that it's going to escape out of the weakest point. And you think
Makes sense.
about the human body as a structure, we all have these steam vents. Hold good posture. You have a bad ankle. That bad ankle is probably the first thing to give if you're to hold under time. So to bring your awareness to these places where those spots could be and to fortify them. And one of them is the breath. But then once you're connected to the breath, then it's just awareness really starts to build. So I think the breath is the first and foundational piece. And as soon as you start to notice how your body reacts as you're doing things, and if you make your breath the most important thing, not the end result, but how you get there by breathing your way in, it changes everything. You watch the most advanced practitioners and the most advanced movement people, watch how they use their breath. Just as you said, as you walk into the room of jiu-jitsu players, you watch the white belts, they're like, and they're gasping and dying, and what are the black belts doing?
Yeah.
Chilling on their back, rolling around, breathing through their nose with a smile. Like, it says a lot. So,
I, I was training with someone the other day, and they're very new, and they're have like a pretty good wrestling foundation, like a high school wrestler, young, they're athletic, and they're brand new to jujitsu. And they were training with someone, and they were going, you just described to a T, right? It was like open mouth, heavy breath, tons of anticipation, a lot of pre-tension before whatever they did. And after I said, "Hey, come over here," I was like, "First, do you have any respiratory issues?" And they were like, "No." I was like, "Okay, cool. We'll do a roll, 5 minutes. Every time you breathe out of your mouth, we're gonna pause, reset, and start over. And however long it's to take you to get back to a place where you can breathe through their nose." And they were like, "Okay, cool." The pace immediately decreased 60%. Everything that they did became more pragmatic, more thoughtful. It wasn't a war, right? It wasn't the craziest role they'd ever had. But we got to the end, and we had to stop a couple times. And it was a moment where they saw what breathing is doing in the time that they're doing the thing. And it was a really cool moment because you do see how much power it has over the rest of the body. So they started focusing on one thing, and now everything's smoothed out. everything became more efficient in the moment. Maybe not no subs or no like crazy transitions, but if you can take that and then apply it to anything else in life, like anxiety over a competition, anxiety over having a tough conversation with somebody that you love, whatever that is, and you have this thing in your pocket 24/7 anytime you want to use it to pause, it's like the biggest secret in the world.
That's crazy. And it's just under your nose at all times. One
And
breath.
it was the first time ever doing like real cold therapy. It was stripped away from me so damn fast. Like that was a crazy moment. How even when you practice it all the time and you implement it, and then you put yourself in an environment that truly physiologically challenges you beyond what you're comfortable with, and you're trying to get that back, it's insane.
Mm. Yeah, the cold is an amazing tool.